What's up? What's up? What's up? Is everything sounding pretty good? All right. First off, yeah, the title, The Disconnect. Why does LeBron James liken NFL owners to slave owners? All right. So, evidently, there's probably going to be some disconnect in there somewhere. But I'm going to start off here. I think it was about what uh maybe a year, two, maybe more than 3 years ago, maybe. I came across a guy by the name of Alton Maddox. He is probably better known uh, to some people because of his um, association with the Tawana Brawley case. Uh, and as I was listening to, because here's the thing, man. I don't shy away from listening to anybody because yeah, I even took a little flack for listening to what the KKK hotline said at one point. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to hear what they saying? I mean, it's like if they putting information out there and it's public, right? Wouldn't you want to know? Let's say if that's your adversary, wouldn't you want to have more insight into what they up to, or thinking, or how they approaching things? Okay, so I'm gonna set that over there. Um, and that's in the very least. And I'm not saying this guy's like that, but even anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I was listening to him, and he was talking about the Emancipation Proclamation, and he is the type of dude who gets into the nitty gritty of the law. I mean, if you're gonna go toe to toe with somebody on the law, this is probably not the guy you probably want to battle with, because he learned, you know, he's on that similar level, I would say, as like if for black people, somewhere up there, like Johnny Cochran type, as far as the nitty gritty of the law, right? Um, and he said that he asked the question, have you looked up the definition of emancipation? And it's a weird question, but if he's asking it, he's asking it for a reason. So you look up the word emancipation, right? Look it up if you got yourself a means of doing so. Try it. So I looked it up. Let's look it up. All right, where are we at? Okay. So you got to realize that over time, definitions change. That's why a lot of people collect older dictionaries, is because they like to see what the original meaning of a word is in an era. Uh, and so I looked it up, and it says set free, especially from legal, social, or political restrictions. Okay. Now, if you're thinking in today's thinking, you're thinking, okay, yeah, that's what Emancipation Proclamation. He set free the slaves in the South, right? But what he went on to explain is that it had never been used in those ways for explaining that. Okay, when you look at the etymology of the word, okay, where it came from, early 17th century, from Latin, emancipate, transferred as property, from the verb emancipare, right? Out of emancipum, slave, out of slavery. Okay. So transferred as property. What he went on to explain is that it was normally used, I believe, you have to go back and check it, but I think he said it was normally used when talking about commerce. Okay. Transferring of monies, not freeing of monies, or freeing of commerce. So when they emancipated these people, they didn't really set them free. They just transferred them as property, not to people, but to the government. So when you really look at it through that lens, and here's the guy, here's Alton Maddox right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still hitting strong because he's trying to get his license reinstated, I believe. I don't know if he got it back yet. Yeah, I don't know if he got his credentials or whatever back, but or his ability to practice. It was something going on like that. But anyway, so let's get out of there. So when you really look at it, we're kind of like all the property of the government, and we're all really, I mean, in this uh, constitutional representative republic that we have. I mean, you have these representatives that we vote in who are supposed to be representing us. They say, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to support this and I'm going to bring you this and I'm going to help you do this. And whichever one that you agree with on the way they're going to do it, I guess, I don't know if it's a way. Some of them, I don't even know if some of them have a way that you can do it. They just say that's what they're going to do, you know? And, when they're doing that, you kind of have to ask yourself, okay, how you going to do it? Like, what's the methodology? Right? What's the methodology? And if your answer is to raise taxes, well, what that means is that you're really supporting that slave system that you're railing against. Because what a tax is a new law, which means more ways that you can be fined and more rules that you have to go by. If broken, come with a penalty. Sometimes that's turning your custody over to, the jail system, right? So you break a law or new rule. You sometimes, man, there's so many rules and laws and stuff. You breaking them. I might have just broke one. I don't know. I said fart on camera. And damn, you can't say fart on camera in the state of North Carolina at 3:04 a.m. because that's the sacred time of the North Carolinian homage to Bumble Gym, right? It's a new law. Somebody wrote that in. No, not really. I hope. Uh, but I'm just saying. So that's the system that we're in. So let's get back to LeBron James. So LeBron said the NFL. Now I can. Oh man. I look at these people and I'm just like, all right, how do you compare this person to somebody else? And if that person was living in this time, would that person be in this realm also like this? Because people like to compare him to Jordan, and they say, oh, Jordan was apolitical, da da da. Republicans buy, Nikes too, right? That was back then. You got to wonder if in a different time with the media the way it is, and you know and as fast as things move and shake, and then you got to go back and say, well, he's not doing it now, right? Michael Jordan's not out there saying, oh yeah, president sucks, or Obama this, or Hillary Clinton, and George Bush. He's still not, but he's older. How old is LeBron James? LeBron's what? LeBron James. Sorry, I don't know that much about his story. And you got to look at it. I mean, he's 33. Okay, all right. So he's in his 30s now. All right, so he's supposed to be coming into his own a little bit. He's getting there. He's got about another 5 years. Not for basketball. He might be able to play another 10. I don't know, but I'm talking about is like where I was at 33 to like 43. It's I'm the same person, but with you know new insights. And for him, I'm pretty sure it's sped up because of because they live on a different time schedule. They live on a different time scale. Everything's so much sped up for these people who are in the limelight like this. I mean, so I was looking at okay, so he's 33. All right, raised by a single mom. I'm guessing it seemed like maybe his relationship with his father might be strained if he's alive at all. I don't really know about his story like that. Um, but I'm sure he's had male role models as like coaches who may have had really impactful um, influence on his life. They had to have had for him to be as successful as he is, right? One of the greatest basketball players to be able to do it, you know, on this level. Uh, that takes focus, and that takes a special thing, and it almost takes some magic because a guy that big, he could have went any way, any which way, you know, and that talent would be, I don't want to say wasted, because I feel like there's always redemption, but it could have went a different way that could have been a lot more destructive. So you have to give it to him, for being able to do that. Uh, but you have to look at it through a different lens. I was looking up some stuff about Michael Jordan. And I was like, well, what was his dad? Was his dad a business owner? Like, how did he know to do that whole deal with the Nike and this and that? And his dad was like military. It was in the Navy or something. Okay, so there was structure. His dad was a baseball fan, so he introduced him to baseball. Turns out Michael Jordan has more in common with me than I thought. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, which is a northern state. I was born in Bristol, PA, and then moved to North Carolina at a young age, and then went to you know uh, UNC. So yeah, from one great to another, yeah, we have similar type paths. Um, so yeah, uh, so I was looking up his dad, so he kept him into this and to that, and he, followed him, followed, I'm pretty sure he was a very good guy, as was his mother. Uh, support, support group, support, uh, and then you look at the guidance he got from Dean Smith. Let's look up Dean Smith. What was Dean Smith's background like? Was he in the military, former military, or something like that? I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I think he was probably a student. Let's see. Coaching legend. Here, I'm gonna bring you guys into the screen share, so you don't have to just look at my face, read stuff. If I can figure out where my, here we go. There we go. Maybe Dean Smith. What was his background? Let's see, early life, early years. Dean Smith was born in Emporia, Kansas, February 28, 1931. So Dean Smith was a little bit older than his dad. His dad was like 1936, I believe. His parents were public school teachers. His dad was a basketball coach, first African American. State title in Kansas. Okay. He also played quarterback. Okay, so he went to University of Kansas, majored in math. He was a member of Air Force ROTC. Kansas won the national title 1952. Finalist in 53. His coach was Fog Allen, who was who was coached by James Naismith, the inventor of basketball. So they say. Smith served as assistant coach at Kansas. Okay. So he's in the ROTC. His mom and dad were school teachers. All right, cool. So he had this guy kind of guiding him. And, they're pretty, that system over there, man, it's a pretty good system for turning out some, guys who, um, I don't know, it's pretty respectful, I would say. I mean, of course, when you got that many people over there, it's always something's gonna happen somewhere where somebody's gonna mess up something or do something weird or whatever. But they put out a pretty good product that are, seem to try to, um, and he was under the, and Michael Jordan was under his influence for a few years and whatnot, and so he gave credit to that guy, you know. So as you hear these stories of Jordan, he's given a lot of credit to a lot of people who had a big role in his life. Um, and maybe it has some reflection on his approach to things. Juxtapose that to LeBron James. His approach is different, and it's in a different time. You have to understand. We're in a we're in a time of a lot of outrage being shown over, I don't know, things that I call fake news, because I can't even watch it anymore. It's like you read something and then you see a completely different take on TV. It's like, how did y'all get that out of that? It's like they'll take something that's like, and then they'll twist it. I'm like, wow, man, I just read the, like, let's say it's a transcript. It's like I watched it live, and they'll have something that, and and I'm just like, wow. So I can't even watch the news anymore. I have to get my news from, like, reading the the different articles, or watching an interview, or watching what actually people actually say. And you really have to watch the whole thing, because they'll have you believe in whatever. They don't, and they won't ever say anything good about the president, so you can't really, it's not balanced at all. Like, I can even see through that. It's like a mockingbird type situation, right? But you go to a LeBron James, and you see how specialized his craft is, just like a Michael Jordan coming up. But he goes from what, high school to the pros. I think that was the last time they did it too, right? He said, "All right, we'll let this one in." It goes, and all of a sudden he's responsible for a whole bunch of people, right? So he's used to being managed. He's used to people managing things on his behalf. It's kind of like an Obama. He's like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna talk, but y'all go ahead and do it and come up with something, right? Where you really have to be hands on, or else you'll invest in the system, and you'll invest in things that's gonna come bite you, right? I mean, that's gonna happen anyway, really. If you're an investor, if you try to build businesses, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna lose money, okay? But he's tapped into a system that will not, I mean, it can't, it's gonna lose money, but it's being propped up by all these people whose jobs depend on him. A lot of people are eating off of LeBron James. And so they'll take I mean, look at, I'm broadcasting right here, right? I really do like to edit video and do, like, make it right and good, but it takes a lot of time, and it's easier to just come on here. But you got teams of people looking through these things, these clips, and editing and putting in music and doing the whole production value deal, right? These people getting paid. They got to get paid. You got the camera guy who has like multiple different angles. Hell, they even show the car pulling off, which means somebody's got to be videoing the car leaving. That guy's got to get paid. And I ain't even get to the producers and executive producers. They got to get paid. The networks got to get paid. All these people getting paid. And you play basketball and you go give a few clips, right? A lot of people have to eat. and his family's gonna eat first. It's like, all right, so yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all what I feel. Now I'm not saying he doesn't feel and believe everything that he's saying, but they know how to make it look really good to where he says, yeah, that's good. That's what I'm saying. Right. Dude, I remember giving an interview in college that now that I go back and look at that interview and I read it, and I'm just like, oh, wow. Young man, young man. You know what I mean? And it's new territory for him. You got to think about it. Leading, he's leading with his voice, but he feels like he's leading people. Maybe he is. I don't know. But he's used to being like having people say, all right, we need to be here. We need to go there. We need to do this. All right, let's go do it. You need, hey, I'm going to learn the X's and O's. Just, just get my ass in the car and take me. And you have to look at that a little bit different from a person who's built a business from the ground. Even this little channel that I'm doing, these little websites I'm doing, man, I'm building that shit from the ground, dude. And you start to see things that you didn't see before you got into this thing, right? Think about what you learn. You learn something new. You're like, dang, oh, now you see it all the time. You ever bought a car? Then you see everybody else. It's like, dang, I see these cars all the time. Now, you know what you're looking for. You kind of see it. Matter of fact, I'm starting to see so many Teslas around here. I think I must have one. I must have a Tesla because I'm noticing them all over the damn place. But when you building a business from the ground, right, and then it starts to become successful. I mean, I'm not saying I'm there. I'm just saying I could put myself in that position because that's where I want to see myself, right? I see myself there, although I'm not there yet, and I feel like that's probably the best way to do it because then I keep working towards it. But can you imagine you get some success and then you got to hire somebody? Can you imagine the nerves? Okay, now I'm hiring this person $20,000 a year, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. They got a lot of responsibilities. They got a family, right? You done built this. You don't want to make bad mistakes, but you gotta put forth the risk because that's how you got there. You gotta risk some, and you gotta make this work. Okay, so now you hire another person for another job, right? You building. You built everything from the logo um the website. You got the licenses and all of that. You figuring things out on your own. You like, okay, now you got some help. You figuring things more out. You know, you in the grind. You in like you hire like two, three, four. Now you got 4 or 5 people whose families depend on you. Okay. Now let's say you invest in a franchise like a football team, right? Let's say you're the owner of a football team. That's a lot of people eating, right? Now remember, we still all slaves to the system because Emancipation Proclamation was a transfer of property. Remember, it's a transfer of property from individuals, supposedly, to the government, just like you, even if you're not black. A lot of people eat, man. And think about this too. Like when you're talking about a basketball team, you're talking about like, I mean, look at the numbers. Basketball to football. Football team, you got what, 50 some players. Then you probably got like 10, 20, 20 some coaches. You got the damn training staff. You got the doctor staff. You got, so yeah, the numbers are just a little lopsided. You got more responsibility, more liability. It's a collision sport now. I'm not saying basketball isn't physical. I mean, I remember times when I went out and played basketball and the next day my whole body was sore. So I'm not diminishing basketball and that's physical, but I'm talking about a collision. Like you go out there and these dudes on the front lines are just like banging. That's a lot of liability too. And so at some point, it's got to be it just makes sense for there to be more rules, you know? So there's a disconnect from okay, you and your sport where you may feel like these people are what better? They making money too. They making money off of you. This ain't even a TV show, right? This is like your sport. They making money off of you too. So I mean, I guess at some point down the road, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, well, this has happened to me, right? Got one viewer. What's up, one viewer? I'm gonna see if he's saying something that way I can say what's up, give a shout out or whatnot. Yeah, I need to do that more because you know what I'm saying. These are my peoples. I got like 91 followers now or subscribers and listeners. Hell yeah, dude, we're growing strong, dogs. Hey, that's kind of like the way I like to grow, kind of slow, you know. Ho ho. You know, like one or two a week. Something manageable. One or two like every week or two. I guess that's one a week then, huh? Yeah, one a week. That's good. Hell, introduce yourselves, right? Say hi. Thank you for the like. Um. So yeah, I'm talking about this LeBron James and likening the NFL owners to slave owners. I mean, look, man, I get it. I get it. I really do. I mean, nobody wants to spend all day. Who's that? Megan Fox. Uh, oh, thank you. What's that? I'm not. I don't know what that says. Showing support and wishing you the best for the holidays. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not a gamey. I don't know what that says. I can't even get all the way up there. What is it? What is? How do I see the whole damn thing? Anyway, yeah, thank you, dude. Um, so there's that. You gotta wonder how. I mean, how many people are these people responsible for? You know what I'm saying? Because once you get into that echelon of people needing you, that's an uncomfortable. I can see that as an uncomfortable position unless you just saying, all right, let's just go. Who wants to be that person? You know, like who wants to be Donald Trump right now. That's a hard position. I mean, who would really want to be Barack or Clinton or I mean, who wants to be the leader? I mean, at some point you kind of have to look at Donald Trump who had never been a president or politician before, really, right? He'd been a business owner. You think he was just like, "Yeah, man, I think I'll just go be president. This is going to be fun." No, man, he knew they were going to be all up in his business. I didn't know if he knew that they would try to destroy him to this extent, everything around him. He kind of alluded to it at one point where it was like, "Hey, man, I thought New York was a bunch of demons, but these people are like extra demon, super demons, super demons in DC." Um, so I think that's where the real disconnect lies is that going from a person who's being led to kind of being a person who's being led who's trying to be a leader. I mean, he's trying to be a leader on a few different fronts, and that's difficult to manage. Period. You talking about trying to be a leader on in a physical sport, and also trying to be a leader of a movement. I mean, you can look at what Muhammad Ali. The people eventually loved him, but he went through it. You think everybody just liked the fact that he said, "No, I ain't going." They hated his ass too. You know, I mean, not to try to negate everything LeBron says, but I think the difference is how you go about changing it. I think there's a difference of perspective, and that's where raising taxes ain't gonna do it because you come from a place where taxes are high and they keep going up, which means more rules, more laws, more fines, more fees, more things you can't do, more things you're supposed to do, more things you have to do. You know, that's what it's boiling down to. And if you look through it from that lens, you kind of have to be more responsible for you. I mean, I'm talking about at any level. I mean, don't trash your own place, your own space. I see trash on the side of the road. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? It's disrespectful. That's why I think people in the South, they really, and people who live out in these areas who own stuff, they respect the land more than some of these people just talking about it. I mean, you could tell somebody that don't own nothing. They always throwing their shit all over the place, not respecting shit. You know, just disrespecting the land. And you could tell to who they are. That's I don't know one landowner who just says, "Yeah, I'm just gonna let I just don't want I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it can get ugly real quick. Matter of fact, I might need to shut up right now because mine ain't looking too good. But it ain't for lack of trying to get it better. It's because things just pile up. But I'm just talking about driving down the street, just throwing trash on the side of the road. Just take your trash to the trash bag and then just deal with your own stuff and put it in a place where you can, you know, I'm not the neatest, but I don't want to trash the place, you know? So how do you, I don't know, how do you, how do you get somebody to see that? How do you get somebody to see that it's just a different approach to to improvement? You know, he bashes the president. Well, he kind of has to because if he doesn't, the networks are going to drop him, and he's got a lot of mouths to feed. Remember, at this point, that's what's paying. You know, later on, he can say, "Oh, I was young." After everything gets better, I'm not saying everything's gonna get better, or I'm not saying it's gonna get worse. I'm just saying whatever it is, he can now say later, "Oh, I was just in my 30s. I didn't know nothing." You know. But right now, he's just to liken a different team or league as like slave owners when you in a league also is paying you millions of dollars. You know, I mean, say what you want. I mean, you really a slave to that system as well. But at least you get the extra benefit of making millions of dollars right now. I mean, you got to understand also that that could all go away. So, mm, it could. Imagine you just said, well, yeah, Trump has a point. Boom. LeBron James has lost his mind. You know, yeah, Donald Trump has a point. Black unemployment is at an all time low. Hispanic unemployment is at an all time low. Can you imagine LeBron James saying that? He's bringing jobs back to America. He lowered taxes on business owners so that they can hire more people and grow and be responsible for more people on a small business level, big business level. More bigger businesses are hiring people who just want to go to work, do a good job, and go home and get their check, be left alone. Yeah, so yeah, Donald Trump, he's doing that, and he did sign this what do you call it, the Prison Reform Act. Yeah, he did that too, and yeah, so yeah, we needed some prison reform. I mean, yeah, I said I wouldn't go see him, but he got it done without me. So I'm glad that he did get it done. I mean, can you imagine if he said any of that? You know how many people would lose their jobs? Really, think about it. He gotta say what he says. Now at this point, somebody got a TV show. You got man, you got producers and stuff and editors and all kinds of people doing all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, man. People getting paid. People got to make his shirts and his, merch. with his name on it. Somebody getting paid off of that. He's got his foundations. He can't just go and say Trump did something good. None of these people can. They're all slaves. For the almighty dollar, right? And they keep on inching up your interest rate under what seems like it's a good economy, right? Wages going up, right? Think about it. More people getting hired. We got more jobs than there are people to fill the jobs. So let's say we could get immigration reform done, get the wall built, slow the immigration down so that we can fill some of these jobs, then invite some people in to fill some of these jobs, have some babies, make some money, help other countries that's struggling, help them wipe out their corruption if we can, and if not, then just live alongside with them, dealing with their corrupted ass. But we can't you know see them hemorrhage and then their hemorrhage becomes our hemorrhage, right? We got to fix us and then help them. So, yo, dude, you bleeding out here. Let me hold my finger right here on the damn blood vessel vein, femur, femoral artery deal. Whatever it takes. But you kind of have to fix home first, man. And home starts kind of local. Man, the demographics are changing. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, I'm gonna end it right there. It's just a disconnect. It's just a different way of getting things done. Some people just want to raise taxes and hand it over to somebody else to do it. And some people are hands on and nitty gritty and say, hey, how about you leave my money to me so that I can do what I want with it? And I'll take the responsibility on myself. That's that's the that's basically the difference. The different approaches. I think we can hire systems to do this and manage this for us versus I think I can come up with a system for myself for these particular things, and maybe you guys can just take care of this and that, right? Some people love systems, taking care of stuff for people. Some people just want to be left alone. That's the difference. Some people just want to have a little bit more of creative input, their own input into things versus, hey, let's set this up for me and then I'm just going to do this and then leave, you know, while I go, really spend time on the thing that I really want to do, which is play basketball. I got this over here where y'all can eat too, and y'all can use my words to improve my brand for me with all my, you know, my mouths to feed. Because at some point, the mouths to feed start to control your ass if you don't have a good manager of those systems. So I don't know. What's the answer, man? What say y'all's ass? What do you think? Leave your comments and all of that stuff and share, like, subscribe if you haven't. And Merry Christmas Eve. Therefore, on the other hand, of less word, and peace out.